James Yorkston, Nina Persson, welcome to the show. Nice to have you both on. How are you?
Hello,
Good, thank you.
And are you full of delicious ramen, James Yorkston?
How on earth did you know that?
Just told me off air. Just told me.
Yeah, we've just been recording some stuff, and then we went for some food, and then we rushed down the hill to be with you here. We rolled down the hill to be with you here.
And when you're on the road, Nina, with James, where is food on the agenda when you're doing sessions and interviews and playing live?
Well, you need it, don't you?
Yeah.
And you have to take care of it all yourself, basically. So it becomes, and you have to sort of plan for it and figure out what their options are and when you have time to eat it and, time to digest and everything. So it's a bit of a chore on tour. Of course, it can be lovely as well, but it is sort of like... it becomes one of your jobs in the day, sort of, to sort out the food situation.
Yeah, of course. And you've spent an awful lot of time together recently, James and Nina, with this beautiful album. We have just heard I Can Change from it, but you were on Jools Holland recently.
Yes.
First time in years for you, Nina, is that right?
That's right. It must be 20 years or more since I was there, yeah.
And how was it for you, James?
It was amazing. It was lovely to be asked. I felt like I was ticking something quite important off, you know what I mean? Because I did a John Peel session way back in 2002 or something. And then I'd never done a Jools Holland. And then being asked to do it, I felt really, that's nice. I felt good.
And on your 16th album for Domino Records, James Yorkston as well. Is that right, this album?
I don't know how they count these things, but let's say 16. That's a big enough number.
I love that you have a strong bond with Domino Records, James.
So do I, man. Absolutely. Let me tell you, so do I. The good thing about them, I think, is that they continue to put out really interesting exploratory music. Like when they signed... Richard Dawson a few years ago, I was over the moon because obviously they have some huge hits. So that they continue to invest on folk like me is, I'm very pleased.
Nina, when did you first become aware, I'm going to pry a little now, of James Yorkston's work?
Oh, it was now a couple of years ago. We have a Swedish friend in common, James and I. It's KJ, Carl Jonas, who is also part of the Secondhand Orchestra, who's been taking part of some of James's records. He introduced me to James's music, and at the same time he asked if I'd be interested to sing with him. And I actually had not heard his music beforehand, but I loved it. And Carl Jonas is a judgment that I trust oftentimes. So that was how. Maybe 3-4 years ago?
Well, it must be before the record that we did together came out.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you wouldn't have been on the record. So it must be, but when did that come out? 23?
I don't know.
That was called The Great White Seagull. So it must have been about 22 that we met.
Yeah.
Something like that.
James, when was the first time you heard Nina's voice?
Oh, well, this was a long time ago. I guess I was maybe 20 or 21. And I had a group of friends in Edinburgh, including your pal, Vic Galloway.
Ah, the King of Scotland.
The King of Scotland, absolutely.
BBC Radio Scotland King, yes.
And this was pre-internet, And what would happen is, if you heard an amazing album, it would get shared around your friend group. It'd say, oh, yeah, have you heard this one? Have you heard this one? What's this like? And, all the absolute music lovers, we'd have this thing going around. And someone, I think it was the guy Stu Basterman, who was a drummer we knew and still know, he produced Life by the Cardigans. And we just all absolutely loved it. It didn't sound like anything that we were listening to at the time. Obviously, we were aware of people like Astrid Gilberto and things like that, but this was like nothing we'd heard before. And it's just like the songs, and Nina's voice, of course, but the songs were so good that it was that album that he put on time and time and time again. So that's why when Carl Jonas suggested that I work with Nina, I was like, oh, that could be amazing. I saw videos of her singing more recently, and I just thought her voice had got even better. because it's matured into this wonderful thing. And when she sings, and she's got all these years of emotion in there. Fantastic. And I still love that album. They're touring it in Japan soon. They're doing a couple of shows in Japan playing only that album. And I would like to go and see the Cardigans playing that album for sure.
Yeah. Let's play another one from the brand new album then, and then we'll talk some more. So this is James with Nina, and this is A Moment Longer. James Yorkston and Nina Persson, our guests tonight here on Six with A Moment Longer, taken from the brand new record, Songs for Nina and Johanna. James, can you tell us about the Second Hand Orchestra, and who are they, and how did you begin working with them?
So Carl Jonas Finquist is who Nina referred to just before that last song. He's one of these kind of movers and shakers that every music scene need. He puts together really interesting projects. He's always got his eye on what's going on. And his band, the Second Hand Orchestra, the idea is that everyone who's in it plays their second favorite instrument. So, like, I'm primarily a guitar player, but if I was in the Second Hand Orchestra, I'd probably move to nickel harp or piano. So it's all a bit shonky. It's all a wee bit kind of secondary school orchestra sounding. And he got in touch with us through, in the early days of the Fence Collective, so we're talking about 2003, Swedish MTV or MTV Sweden used to come over and film us, and he saw that. And he just got attracted to the kind of do-it-yourself nature of the scene in the Isnika Fife back then. So we've kind of became friends through that, just through a love of experimenting with music and seeing what happens.
Isn't that a wonderful thing? Just beautiful. And Nina, when you hear James describing what was happening with the Fence Collective in Fife and the kind of the second-hand instrument ethos of the second-hand orchestra, are there similarities between that and scenes in Sweden, maybe?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I think that happens everywhere, really. It's just a matter of how much attention it gets, basically. I think that's how we operate when we make music, right? You start at some sort of a DIY level with pals.
But then, of course, you go on to become one of the world's biggest indie rock bands. I mean, you and the Cardigans, you sold...
Well, if you're lucky.
Yeah, but you sold millions of records worldwide, didn't you? And I know there were solo albums after as A Camp, Nina, but is it nice to get back to the basics being beautiful songs now?
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, it's not like the Cardigans are operating on that level anymore. Exactly, we're fairly basic these days as well. But yeah, of course, it's lovely, and it's nice to focus on the singing, not so much about the bells and whistles around it.
Sure. And when James presents you with these songs, Nina, and the lyrics in particular, which a lot are about love and about relationships and family and parenthood, I believe, James, as well. Do you then, Nina, ask about the lyrics, or do you just interpret them and sing them individually, independently, as it were?
Sometimes I felt that it was important to ask, because, I mean, if I'm relaying the words, I want to make sure that I'm not misinterpreting what James has written, at least. But I think it also gives freedom for, my own take a little bit as well. If it mentioned names or people, I would ask, what's the story behind it? Just for my information, I'd like to know what I'm doing.
Yeah, of course. And James, do you like explaining your lyrics to Nina, or do you prefer just to stand back and say, they are there, read them as you will?
It's Nina has such a great voice. I mean, when I'm working with her, it's just such a thrill to hear her singing, And it's interesting you talk about changing them, because they do subtly change as we gig. Nina will change the way she tells the stories, which I think is fascinating. I mean, some of it can be as simple as saying his to hers, but then she changes just little ways that the songs are presented, and I love that. I love that she makes them her own. She makes them seemingly more personal.
Yeah. And with Johanna Soderberg, who we know from First Aid Kit on the record as well, Nina, were you friends with Johanna already?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, we've met a couple of times, sang together a couple of times. I love those sisters. So it was really fun to do a recording project together as well.
And we think of the Swedish music scene, James, as, it's world class, it's world famous. But do everybody know each other like they do on the Scottish scene?
Very much so, actually. I mean, I'm now older generation, so to speak, in the Swedish scene. So there's for sure a ton of people I have just not been, around to meet. But of my generation, I think I know or met most of them.
Did you find similarities, James?
I just found in Stockholm, really, and Malmö as well, but in Stockholm's where we do most of the work, that the musicians there are all just kind of wonderful, open, talented people. Or the members of the second-hand orchestra, and then other people we work with, like Daniel Bengtsson and Peter Moran, who's from the band Peter, Bjorn and John. They seem to be very educated in all the sort of classic sounds of the 70s and 60s and 70s and 80s. So it's like going over and just having an amazing house band ready to play the songs. And because we only see each other for maybe 2 weeks every time we record, we've never grown out of each other. We're still in the honeymoon period, It's my job just to kind of hopefully deliver good songs and then have the rest of them just make them sound wonderful. It's an absolute joy, and it makes me feel very privileged as a musician to be able to play with them all.
Well, let's hear another song from the record now. It's a beautiful song from the album. This is Love That Tree. It's James Yorkston and Nina Persson, and it's taken from the brand new record. Songs for Nina and Johanna as well. James, have you had people ever write songs that you have gone on to sing? Or is it currently a one-way stream?
I don't know if they've... Nina has contributed a line or two to this album, but I don't think I've had songs written for me to sing. But of course, I've done loads of traditional songs, and I've done loads of covers of other people as well.
Yeah.
But no, that'd be an interesting thing. But then imagine if it was a terrible song, Oh, I got on the train. Oh, it was good for my brain. Oh, it'd be awful,
Well, you say that, but I mean, you're steeping in traditional songs, and traditional music is really, really interesting, because as a modern songwriter creating new songs, I mean, the weight of the traditional songs must weigh heavy on your shoulders, James.
Oh, they don't really. I think, especially in Scotland, the traditional scene is in far stronger hands than my own, in far better shape than it is really in England, if I dare say. But in Scotland and Ireland, I think it's in a pretty good shape. I don't really feel as if I'm part of it, but I'm a massive fan of it, and it's been a huge influence on me all my musical life. And a lot of the artists, people like Dick Gaughan and Lal Watson, of course, English folk singer, they've been huge, and they continue to be a huge influence on me.
And we're just dazzled by Sweden, Nina, constantly. I mean, you're always creating, be it ABBA or yourselves or dance and pop music in particular, from, right through to like Zara Larsson, and it's constant, isn't it, with the moving forward. Does Sweden enjoy looking back at your traditional songs as well?
Well, that comes and goes. At the moment, the kids seem to be obsessed with the 90s. So right now we're welcome. But there's been periods where we've been, not shunned, but just less interesting. So it comes and goes. So you got to harvest while you can.
We had one really nice drive, Nina and I can't remember where we were going. And we were talking about traditional songs. And I tried to sing one or two. And then Nina started singing some really beautiful Swedish traditional songs. And it was a very nice part of the journey when we just had half an hour, 45 minutes of these wonderful old melodies that I'd never heard or experienced.
I think I misunderstood the question. I thought when you said yours, I thought you meant the Cardigans.
Sorry, I know I meant as a country.
As a country. Well, I don't know anymore, though. I mean, really good stuff is coming out, made by much, much younger kids than me. And I don't know how much it is prevalent, actually. I pretty much grew up on it myself, but it's a different time, in the 70s. So the Swedish current government has finally gotten through to create what you call a Swedish culture canon. So I think they're finding some need to re-establish that, like a connection with the cultural history. So yeah, I'm not really the one to talk about it.
It's like, now kids, settle down, we're going to learn about the hives, that kind of thing.
God forbid.
Nina, the music magazines were my Bible growing up, and this sprung into my mind earlier. I remember an article, I think it was in Select magazine. Cardigans were always in Select. And you were saying that with your CD collection, your compact disc collection, you'd thrown away all the casing and you'd put all the CDs kind of flat in a small shoebox. So what I want to ask 25 years later is, do you still have your CDs?
I do. They're in like 30 shoe boxes, I should mention. And the funny thing is now I have them. They've been in my basement since. And my 15-year-old kid is really into CDs.
Cool.
And he brings them from the basement, take them out of every single plastic case that I put them in, and puts them back into jewel cases.
Oh, really? Undoing your good work.
That's how much they love the 90s, these kids. More than practicality allows, yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yep, and we just did a move, and I had to convince him to pack them in the moving boxes without the jewel cases, just to please save some weight there, and he agreed to that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
James, you are touring. I know you've done a bunch of dates already, but coming up throughout December, you'll be in Glasgow, Stirling, Birkenhead, Leeds, Durham. And how does it work? Is it you and Nina and Johanna and the Second Hand Orchestra?
No, those December dates, I should make clear, they are solo shows.
Okay.
So don't come along expecting Nina and Johanna, because that could be troublesome.
Okay.
What happens with those ones is I tend to delve back into the previous 16 albums.
Wow.
So the solo shows, I tend to do the old stuff and some of the new stuff, but they kind of become like request shows, because people just ask for all the old songs and I try and play them. And then like the next day, I'll try and play all the ones that people requested the night before, and then some other ones. And, and it kind of rolls on like that. So the set list is kind of chosen by the people who come to the shows.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they always ask for my songs and not someone else, which really helps.
Well, it's such a beautiful record. Congratulations, and thank you very much for joining us to celebrate the record, which was out very recently. It's on Domino Records. James Yorkston, Nina Persson, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Huw. Thanks.
Thank you so much.